Hey, Josh.
Hey, Mark. Tony.
Hello.
Do you try to sign in, Josh, on the link that was on Kristen's
I
email?
use the community calendar link.
Yeah, because the one that was on, I did too. Uh, the other one was coming up with an invalid ID, so I'm
Oh,
not sure. He may have some issues. I'm not sure.
um, yeah. Are you able to text him or something, Tony? I can do that.
Yeah.
Gene. Use the link that's on the community calendar to get into the meeting. Pardon me.
Okay, we can get started. We have a quorum here. Okay, I'm going to open up the meeting of the Board of Selectmen Wednesday, January 24th at 6:30. I have a few opening announcements, comments. First is presidential primary election. We held Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Polls open at Town Hall from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. For absentee ballots and early voting information, visit the town clerk's page at nahant.org. Town election will be on Saturday, April 27th, 2024. Polls open at Town Hall from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Nomination papers are now available at the town clerk's office and due back by March 11th, 2024. Winter parking ban is on December 21st, 2023 to March 20th, 2024 from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. No vehicles on the street during this time, regardless of the snow parking ban. Visit the Nahant Police Department if you need a winter parking sticker. And finally, the annual report photo contest. For those who are interested, submit a photo or a drawing of your favorite place in town by February 2nd for a chance to be picked for the cover of the 2023 annual report. Visit nahant.org or email ktaylor@nahant.org for more information and contest rules. Josh, you have any opening comments?
No.
Okay. We have a joint hearing on license renewals for Comcast and Verizon. Tony or Dan, do we need a motion to open this public hearing?
Yes. Yes, we need a motion for the public hearing.
All right. I move that sorry. I move that we open the public hearing with Comcast and Verizon.
Seconded. All in favor? Discussion?
Josh,
Okay.
Josh and I.
Mark Cullen and I. So this was advertised, I see, Dan, publicly.
Yep. Twice. There were two publications. One was last Wednesday, one was 2 Wednesdays ago, which is required by the regulation.
Okay. So this will be at some point we'll open this hearing up to the public
Yes.
for comment. We have representatives from Comcast and Verizon with us tonight.
No, I reached out to them both. They are not available, so they will not be here. They just asked me to report the vote once and if it's taken.
Okay. Tony, any update on this?
No, we've been doing this for a while. You know, we didn't really get a ton of complaints or testimony from the public, or requests for changes. And, you know, what we really wanted to try to, our biggest, I guess, complaint or concern was the cost of service, which we can't really control or impact. through this process. We could only possibly affect it negatively by asking for more PEG dollars through the contract, which gets passed on to the ratepayer. So we opted not to do that. And Dan's update is the most recent. So I think we're good to go on there was a term of the contract discussion that we had. We came to an agreement on that. And I think Verizon and Comcast didn't have any issue with either of it. So I think we're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, Tony, just to add on to that, this is a phase 2 hearing. The phase 1 hearing we had a few months ago, which was called the ascertainment hearing, which invited the public to provide comments, complaints. No one did, which is consistent with the records we've gotten from Comcast and Verizon, indicating that they were pretty good and being very responsive. Now it's a public hearing based on the idea that the public can provide input on the proposals that we have before us that we've put in the clerk's office. And to Tony's point, we had 10-year contracts. Now we have 5-year contracts. As you might imagine, the cable industry is being hit heavily by online services. So the companies are a bit less likely to go for longer term contracts. So the biggest difference in this new contract is, again, it's 5 years. It becomes a high def channel in terms of PEG rather than regular definition, I guess it's called. The PEG funding is a little bit better this time around for Comcast. It's about the same for Verizon. Verizon's getting about $27,000 over 5 years, and Comcast is $25,000. Now, based on the records from Allison, that's more than enough to fund our PEG support. We did check. We did reach out to Pablo, and he had Pedro. Was it Pedro? And he provided no particular concerns about what's happening in terms of the pass-through. Nahant has never charged a franchise fee to these companies because, to Tony's point, that would usually be passed on to the consumer. So that was something that the previous Board of Selectmen 10 years ago, I believe it was, decided not to adopt. And I recommend we keep the same flow going.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks for looking into that. Josh, before I open it up to the public, any comments on this?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to open it up to the public. If anybody, Tony, wants to speak for or against Comcast or Verizon, tell them to raise their hand or identify themselves.
Yep. If you could just, as Mark said, just unmute, identify yourself with your name and your address.
The same response we got as ascertainment hearing, so it's no surprise.
Yeah.
So we need 2 motions. One, to execute the renewal agreement, to license the renewal license with Verizon. So the motion would be something to the effect of, I move the Board of Selectmen to execute the renewal license with Verizon Cable.
I move that the town exercise the extension with Verizon Cable.
Seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing, hearing none, all in favor?
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
And we need the same motion with regard to Comcast, in that I move that the Board of Selectmen execute the renewal license with Comcast.
I move that the Board of Selectmen execute the renewal contract with Comcast.
Seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing, hearing none,
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye. And then Josh,
Now
we
we
need a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that the Board of Selectmen close the public hearing on the cable services.
Seconded. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye. Okay, postcard housing update. Tony, Dan, I know you had a nice day sitting around doing nothing today, but maybe give us an update.
You know, that's what trial work is all about. A lot of it is like hurry up and wait. And that's exactly what happened today. Poor Tony sat in the courtroom all day today and didn't get a chance to say a word to the jury. But that'll change tomorrow. We have openings tomorrow at 9 o'clock or 9-ish, you know how it is. And then Paul Amaral will testify in the Alessi trial. And then Tony will testify after Paul. And then we'll have Ms. Alessi, well, not we, but Ms. Alessi will testify on her own behalf. And then that'll be it. And then we'll see what happens. We had a trial date for Carmody, but she unfortunately has a conflict. I mean, that couldn't be avoided. So we got that bumped until the end of February, and we have a pre-trial in March regarding the folks on Castle Road. So we're making progress.
Slowly, but I thought the one on Castle Road was supposed to leave on January 1st. What happened?
That's what we were told as early as November, but they kept pushing it back to the point where within the past 2 weeks they let us know that that's just not going to happen. That's where we are, unfortunately.
As far as the demolition project, that project is completed. The temporary fencing has been removed. Our next step is to we have the old swing set in the back there that we have to remove, do some cleanup in the area, but we might wait to see what happens with the Castle Road property for any further grading. But you know, once the snow melts, we'll get in there with the DPW and do some extra cleaning. But of course, you know, the properties as they get sold are going to be roughed again for, you know, future development. So we don't want to spend too much time or money on that when it's just going to be, you know, pushed around again. And I had a call scheduled with Jeff Blake today about the next steps on the procurement process. Unfortunately, it got pushed because we were stuck in court all day. So hopefully I'll have a chance to connect with him tomorrow.
Okay. Josh, any comments on this?
No.
Okay. Thanks, guys. New business. Josh, we have some motions here.
Yes, I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve a police detail at the Nahant Town Hall for the presidential primary election on March 5th, 2024, and the town election on Saturday, April 27th, 2024, from 6:45 a.m. until all final votes have been counted and tallied.
Seconded. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Josh Hanford, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
Okay, we have some event requests from the Nahant Public Library. I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the following event requests hosted by the Nahant Public Library. The hands-on bird feeder making on Wednesday, February 21st, 2024 at 10 a.m. and Science Heroes Saving Earth Together on Friday, February 23rd, 2024 at 9:30 a.m.
Seconded. Discussion. I take it this is school vacation week on Wednesdays and Fridays, so hopefully there'll be a lot of kids there. Sounds great. I know our new librarian, Nora, is doing a great job, and as well as our children's librarian, Miss Emma. I'm up there frequently, and they seem to be doing a really good job. Okay, any further?
Yeah, there is some notes here. Both events are tentative on location. Depending on head count, the event will be held at either Nahant Public Library or the Town Hall. The library will announce the final location 2 days before each event.
Great. That's good. Okay. All in favor?
Josh Hanford, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
We have some meeting minutes to approve. I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from Wednesday, December 20th, 2023, and Wednesday, January 10th, 2024.
Seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing here and none, all in favor?
Josh and from I.
Mark Cullen, aye. Okay, thanks, Josh. Ongoing business. We've got nothing under that. Preserving East Point. Josh, you want to give us an update there?
Sure. I was expecting would be able to give you an update on the hearing that was supposed to take place this morning. However, that hearing has been pushed out till Friday morning at 10 o'clock at Newburyport Superior Court. So hopefully next time we'll be able to report on the results of that hearing.
Okay.
But nothing yet.
Great, thanks, Josh. Town administrators report. I know, fortunately, Tony, you're on vacation with your family in someplace warm, but you can give us the update. But I can tell you that Zach and Public Safety did a great job during this whole event. Cleanup was phenomenal. It was so quick. Great job. But go ahead.
Yes, thank you. They I'll do the storm recap first, and then I'll jump into the state of the town. But yeah, Saturday, was honestly, even though we got hit really hard, we actually got lucky. Kind of, again, it could have been much worse. But we did sustain some damages around town from that storm. Doggy Beach had some pretty significant erosion. The protective, the berm or the dune at Short Beach, especially close to Little Nahant, sustained some damage, but it did help prevent flooding in that area of the town. The fence behind the life-saving station garage was damaged. There was some minor damage to Tudor Beach wall and some sinking of the wharf parking lot, which is a typical occurrence when we have flooding in that area. And we had flooding on Willow Road, Castle Road. The Rotary was temporarily closed. Traffic in and out of town was halted because of that for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. We didn't have any residents call the emergency management department requesting any assistance. But we had, all the departments, as you mentioned, worked, together and collaboratively to provide information and keep residents updated as best as possible. Beyond that, we had the other intense effect from that storm was the inflow of stormwater into our sewer system. So Zach, our DPW superintendent, had the mindset ahead of time to call Grenice and Sons to come to town and Weston and Sampson to come to town. Only about half of Grenice's equipment was able to get into town before the Rotary got closed. And Weston and Sampson, luckily, was probably the last vehicle that got through. But thankfully, we had them on staff, on duty, during that storm to help us, ramp up our pumps and deal with the increased flow during the storm. But it was definitely an intense situation, according to Chief Furlong and Zach Taylor. So, but yes, I got to commend them for the recovery efforts. While we had significant flooding, they were able to pump those down within a couple hours after the tide receded. So really great job by them, and great job preparing for it too.
I agree.
We still don't have Gene. I was trying to resend him the link. All right. Get it going here. Good evening, Chairman Cullinan, Vice Chairman Antrim, and Secretary Canty, if he was with us. Through you and to the residents of Nahant, thank you for your support and for tuning in to tonight's State of the Town address. I want to start by thanking current and former elected officials, employees, and volunteers for their contribution and commitment to our community's success. Our town is extremely blessed to have so many talented people contributing to the successful accomplishments of our goals. Our elected officials and our appointed volunteers on the many committees and boards who do not get paid for their time dedicate countless hours to work on so many important issues before our town. And at times they are subjected to passionate criticism of their process or decisions, and it can be an unpopular position to be in. So I want to take the time tonight to thank them all for sticking with it. The work you do does not go unnoticed. It is appreciated, and it makes Nahant a better place. To the employees of Nahant, your daily commitment to serving the residents of this community is unwavering. Through difficult times, you step forward and oftentimes work extra hours away from your families for the benefit of our town. We have, as a team, discussed multiple times the importance of restoring faith in our local government by treating our residents with respect, honesty, and responsiveness. I thank you for conducting yourselves with these three values in mind. It is because of your efforts and your input that we've accomplished so many great things over the past 5.5 years. To the residents of Nahant, I hope you feel the same way. We work very hard to do what's best and what's right for this community. Our primary goal is to find ways to improve our services without adding additional costs to our residents. And after asking for your support in 2019 for a small override to help improve the town's finances, we have solidified the town's bond rating at the highest possible position for our town, which allows us to secure lower interest rates and save hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. We have steadily increased our stabilization account by 616%, from about $93,000 to about $670,000, meeting the DOR minimum standard of 5% of our total budget, and we are well on our way to 10%. Similarly, we have invested in our post-employment benefits fund, increasing it from only $3,000 to over $100,000. And additionally, each year we have paid down debt above and beyond our minimum required payments in order to reduce our principal balances as quickly as possible. In fiscal year 23, we allocated $841,000 to general fund debt, while the actual debt due was $538,000. And most importantly, those efforts, along with one-time capital projects, have been funded appropriately with free cash dollars, just as the Department of Revenue recommended back in 2015. Since 2018, through the efforts of our elected officials, volunteers, and employees, past and present, we have secured $6.9 million in federal, state, and local grants to fund programs and projects throughout Nahant. I'd like to highlight the Green Communities Program specifically because through multiple grants of over $425,000, we have completed energy efficiency projects that have only cost the town about $40,000 and has created over $125,000 in annual savings. In the past year, we have completed more projects of significant value than ever before. Most notably, we've completed the largest sewer infrastructure project in recent history with the $8.8 million sewer main rebuild under the Linway. We also just procured and contracted 2 additional sewer infrastructure projects valued at about $7 million combined and feature Priority 1 gravity sewer system repairs and a complete rebuild of the inner workings of our main pump station on Ward Road. And due to the support of the Board of Selectmen, the Advisory and Finance Committee, and our residents, all of those projects are funded through the State Revolving Fund, which provides us long-term borrowing at below market interest rates. Through the support of the Community Preservation Committee and town meeting, we have funded and completed projects such as the Little Nahant Playground, restorations of Fort Ruckman and Bailey's Hill Parks, and improvements at Town Hall with the installation of historically accurate stage and window curtains. We have nearly completed our restoration project of Bear Pond. We have installed access point signage at our beaches to improve emergency response times. And through the support of our state delegation, the school committee, and the school administration, we have upgraded multiple safety measures at Johnson Elementary School. Our 5-year pavement management plan has been updated, and we've also created a new 5-year sidewalk improvement plan as well. In 2023, we created a composting pilot program that to date has signed up and fully reimbursed 73 residents for curbside compost collection with Black Earth Composting. This program was funded with American Rescue Plan Act dollars and donations from SWIM. There are now more than 100 or almost 150 households participating in curbside collection of composting. One of the capital projects that has been almost 20 years in the making is the demolition of the Coast Guard housing property near Bass Point. We have completed the project of removing 9 units thanks to the support of all those involved in the special town meeting late last year. We held multiple community events, including 5 farmers markets, a Red Cross blood drive, a Memorial Day parade with improved audio at the wharf, July 4th celebrations where residents danced the night away to live music, and many, many more. All of these things happen because of collaboration. They happen because we came together as a community, elected officials, volunteers, employees, and we moved in the same direction as a team. And over the next year, we have to continue those efforts. Next month, we will be procuring the long-anticipated project of stormwater improvements in the lowlands, along with water main projects on Fox Hill Road and Emerald Road. Over the coming months, we'll be working to finalize rules and regulations related to short-term rentals. We hope to complete the process of developing our housing production plan, and we'll soon embark on planning for compliance with the new MBTA Communities Chapter 3A requirements. We're currently in the middle of planning improvements for our Council on Aging department, and we will soon start the process of studying for new public safety facilities. We have to continue our progress of planning and improving our infrastructure to combat climate change and sea level rise. It's the #1 issue for our community. Most, if not all, of our coastal properties are identified in our hazard mitigation plan as areas of need. 40 Steps Beach is currently in the design and permitting phase. Short Beach Dune is designed and awaiting grant approval for hopefully almost $3 million. Willow Road revetment improvements are funded and will soon enter the permitting phase with the Commonwealth. And we've applied for grant funding to study and design improvements to Castle Road coastline. But Tudor Beach Wall, Marjoram Park, and the Wharf parking lot all need to be evaluated and planned as well. We've also started discussing with the planning board a timeline to embark on a town master plan process that is desperately in need of an update, and we hope to seek funding for that process later this year. These are aggressive goals for the upcoming year, but our recent accomplishments are proof of what we can accomplish together. I again want to thank you all for helping to make Nahant the greatest it can be, and I look forward to our continued progress. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tony. That was wonderful, and I know you've given thanks to all the employees and elected officials and the residents, but the one that deserves the most is you, our leader here, for steering this ship along during this past year. You've done a terrific job, and I just look forward to continuing our work with you. Lots to do, lots have been done, and lots more to do. But great job. Really terrific. Josh, I see Gene, you made it on. Any comments?
Oh, Gene, you're muted there, Gene.
Go ahead, Josh.
Well, Gene gets squared away. It's pretty inspiring to hear all that great news, Tony. So thanks for sharing that. I know, oftentimes we think, we're going from problem to problem, and that's especially true in your case, fighting daily fires. But when you hit the rewind button and go through all the good news that has taken place over the past few years, and especially this past year, it's heartwarming. We're lucky to have, as you say, dedicated employees of this town. I'm amazed at all the volunteers that serve this town out of the goodness of their heart. And I'm very pleased that I can say, the three members of the Board of Selectmen and you and all the town employees are in unison, simply trying to do whatever is best for the town of Nahant and looking out into the future. So, it pleases me to have a small part in that process, and looking forward to continuing a positive trend.
Well said, Josh. Gene?
Can you hear me yet?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I just said, rather than go through what you two just accoladed, I will just parrot that what you're saying is so true. And I guess the bottom line is, to make it simple, we're going in the right direction. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you all. And again, just it's such a team effort. It's not just being dedicated to the town or putting the time and the effort in. It's that everybody works. I mean, truly works together on. Everybody has a role in all these different accomplishments, and when everybody's rowing in the same direction, you can accomplish a lot. And so that's the summary of I think, as I was putting together that speech and writing out all the different things we accomplished, that's what kind of was the centering theme of it all. Everybody had a part in it. So we got a lot to do, got a lot more to do. But thank you for giving me the opportunity to recap that.
Thanks, Tony. Anything else on the report, Tony?
No, I would say that we had yesterday. I think yesterday was the deadline for CPC project applications. In the town, we submitted, I think, 7 applications, and almost half of those were co-sponsored by our Open Space and Recreation Plan Committee. And we look forward to working with the CPC through their process as we get ready for town meeting in May. We applied for a number of different things, and I know there was probably 3 or 4 applications that came from residents or other committees submitted as well. So I look forward to working with the CPC on that in the next step.
Thank you, Tony. Under the update and budget timeline, when do you think we'll have a budget that we can get to the Finance Committee?
So our goal is to have our budget submitted to the Finance Committee by the end of February, which means we're having budget meetings with all department heads. We've been having them for the last couple weeks, and this week, Allison and I are putting together. And she does such a tremendous job. She really deserves a lot of thanks for all the work that she does to put us in a position to make progress on a quick timeline. Our hope is to have the first draft of our budget to you, the selectmen, to brief the 3 of you individually mid-February, and then recap those numbers with department heads before you vote to accept that draft and provide it to the finance committee. So then that gives the finance committee 2 full months, March and April, to get through their process before the budget and the warrant and the book go to printer in early May, late April, early May, for the late May town meeting.
All right, look forward to going through that with you. Okay, great. That brings us to Citizens Forum. If someone wants to speak, either raise your hand or unmute yourself and identify yourself and your address and go at it. Candace, go ahead.
Hi, Candace Cahill, 20 Rollins Avenue. Congratulations, Tony, and to team. That's a lot of hard work and great numbers for this year. A lot of big things that have been reached. I wanted to just have a quick question. I don't want to go down into the weeds with it, but what exactly regarding Coast Guard housing? What's the status? We have the 3 homes. They are going to court, and what's I'm just confused on what the outcomes. I mean, I know what the outcome is supposed to be, or what's supposed to happen.
As far as those 3, or are you asking about the ones that are vacant and the sale process?
Well, I guess both, but more about the 3 that are still right
Well,
being.
Dan, I'll let you, as since we're in a legal process, I'll let you answer that question.
Sure. Generally speaking, we're just trying to evict them, to be quite frank. At this point, we're nothing but a landlord, like any other landlord. We have no special powers of the town, and we have to go to the same process every other landlord does. And that's what we're doing. Unfortunately, they're really pushing it to the end, to the extreme, but that is their right to do. And they're being represented by able counsel, and they're just running us through the process, and we're just following along because that's what we have to do.
So their reason is they just don't want to move. I mean, it just boggles my mind. Sorry.
Well, I'm not going to go into what their motivations are. I don't know, but all I can say is that they are not willing to leave voluntarily.
But as far as the rest of the property goes, Candace, we're working with legal counsel on the procurement process, to sell the property, and our goal is to begin selling property this spring, and to be able to capture that hot real estate market. So we have a lot of work to do in the next few months here. But we're on track, and that's we're hoping to be letting the town know that's with a date of when those are going to go live. But our goal is I would say April to get that started.
So other than the fact that the 3 are still living in those 3 properties, is there any specific plan for how to start selling which properties? Is there any earmarked for this one's going to go first, this one's going to go second?
The town meeting motion that was approved restricts our hands a little bit. It says 2 offerings over 2 years of alternating lots. And so because there are 3 properties that haven't been removed yet, it does kind of affect that alternating lots part of it. And once we start selling, the 2-year clock starts ticking. So we're trying. It is a little bit of a puzzle for us, but no, we don't have those details as to which properties are going up first and in what order and all of that we don't have that finalized yet. That's what we're going to be accomplishing over the next month or so. And we'll be, sharing that with the public as soon as we can.
All right, and just one last question quickly, sorry. So it would be 6 lots that starting in the spring would be what we want to sell, alternating lots, with another 6 next spring to fit it in within a 2-year time frame.
It doesn't necessarily have to be 6 and 6. It just has to be 2 offerings of alternating lots within 2 years. So, we could do the first, the 9 that we have now in an alternating fashion, and then do the other 3 once they're ready. We could do 6 now and 6 later. That we have some wiggle room there as long as it's alternating lots within the 2-year time frame.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Candace. Let's see, George, you can unmute yourself and identify yourself.
Yes, good evening. George Mahovan, 64 Lennox Road, Nahant. First of all, I want to thank all you gentlemen for the work you've done over the last year. Very impressive. Questions, excuse me, update on the short-term rental letter. Now I forgot my place now. Oh, and also the right-of-way up in Little Nahant. Then one other question kind of out of the blue. What is going on with the Nahant channel? I noticed tonight there's no Selectmen meeting on there. And also, I do remember once, I don't know how long ago, that you people said that you were going to do something to try to revamp the Nahant channel, which I think would be very advantageous for the people in Nahant that don't have computers, that would like to watch these meetings, and they don't have any recourse to watch them. And also the bulletins and what's going on in town would be, I think, a great asset to the people of Nahant if they could see it on the Nahant channel, and instead of trying to call the selectmen all the time or talk to people and get hearsay and so on and so forth. So I'm just wondering what's going to be done. I know that they did a fantastic job on the website, and I was hoping something similar could be done to the Nahant channel. Thanks again. Be safe and have a good day.
Yeah, thanks, George. So Tony, there's 3 questions. Airbnb, and then the public way, and then the channel. So you can take them.
So I'll take it in reverse order. We should be live streaming on the local channel tonight. The last meeting didn't, because we were kind of off schedule. We typically are the 1st and 3rd Wednesday, but we ended up being the 2nd and 4th Wednesday this month. So there was some setup issues with the streaming software. But I asked today, I triple checked it today before our meeting to make sure that we were all set. I was, and I was told we were all set. So I just sent a text over to our cable TV person to ask him if he can double check, what the issue might be there.
Okay, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm going to. I used to be on channel 45. I have Verizon, and I have channel 45 on right now, and it just says this channel is reserved for public, educational, or government access programming. And again, when the channel is on there, it's still the old channel. In other words, I thought we were going to update it. There's really no information on there other than tides and so on and so forth. That sometimes when there's selectmen meetings or other meetings, they say there's no meetings tonight, and so I think it needs to be updated to give more up on time information.
Okay, I'm writing it down, George. I'm not sure what the issue is, but I'll look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, George. I did notice, Tony, that we dropped. I'm on Comcast, and I lost it later this afternoon a couple times. It kept going out. So I don't know if it was just my house or if it was town-wide, but it was in and out most of the afternoon.
Okay. Right of way in Little Nahant, we don't have, there's really no update from the last meeting. Dan and I met with our title researcher who's helping us through the CPC project, look at all right of ways and ensuring and discovering, what property the town of Nahant actually owns and controls. So we're doing some research through the registry of deeds related to that, but there's no update right now. Dan and I spoke a little bit about, possible next steps on that specific right away in that meeting. And let's just say, Dan and I are thinking creatively about how to attempt some faster progress on that specific right of way. And then as far as short-term rentals go, the letter has gone through final legal review. It's approved, and it's either going out tomorrow or Friday.
Is there any way we can get a copy of that to me in the public, or?
When it goes out, yeah, when it gets the final PDF, sure, it's a public record.
Great.
We
Thanks
we
again,
could
Tony.
post it. We could probably post it on our website.
That'd be great.
Tony,
Thank
we'll get a copy of that, right?
Yep, I can share that with you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you, George. Anybody else with citizens forum? Don't see any. Okay, Josh or Jean, any closing remarks?
No, I have none.
No.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn.
So made.
Seconded?
Motion's made and seconded. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye. Thanks again, everybody.